Okay, class, so I'm actually going to go through just like I did last time. Tomorrow is your very last assignment, your very last anything. I'm going to go through and I'm going to do a sample of the practice quiz. I'm going to work through the practice quiz, so your problems won't be the exact same problem, but they will be very, very similar. So you can use this to help you on the practice, and then you can also use this to help you on the quiz. The only thing that you cannot use on the quiz is someone else taking it for you. Okay, so here we go. If we look at this, negative 24 equals 12y, and we're just going to solve, right? The y is on the right-hand side, and we want to get rid of the 12. That 12 is attached with multiplication, and we undo multiplication with division. So whatever we do to one side, we want to do to the other. And so we'll get negative 2 equals y, or y equals negative 2, and so you would type in negative 2. Sorry, wrong button. Okay, number 2. We have v minus 7 equals negative 9. So if we want to solve this for v, we need to move the 7. The 7 is attached with subtraction, and we undo that with addition. Negative 9 plus 7 gives us a negative 2, and so v equals negative 2. It is a coincidence that that is the same number. Number 3, we have negative 11 equals 7 plus 3y. So remember, when we're solving equations, we do order of operations backwards, which means, right, PEMDAS, but in reverse. So the subtraction and addition, we want to undo first. So we're going to focus over here on the right-hand side because that's where our variable is, right? So we're going to look over here. And we need to undo anything that's attached with addition or subtraction, which is the 7. Now, when we undo something, right, we always look in front of it. So this is a positive 7. So we will undo that with a negative 7 or subtracting 7, right? A negative and subtracting are the same thing. So we'll say negative 11 minus 7, which gives us a negative 18 equals a 3y, right? I know it's positive because of that sign. Then I will undo the multiplying by 3 by dividing by 3. And I'll get negative 6 equals y, or y equals negative 6. Number 4, now while we always do order of operations backwards, right, we said if we have one of these large fractions where we have multiple things happening in the numerator or the top of the fraction, that this is really held on with parentheses in the top, right? There's really parentheses sitting there, which means that's the last thing that we can deal with. So we need to deal with this denominator first. Okay, and so we undo dividing by negative 3 by multiplying by negative 3. Okay, that cancels these out. We'll get a positive 21, a negative and a negative. Multiplying give us a positive. Okay, and now we're just down to that regular old 2-step. So we'll add 19 to each side. These will cancel. 40. And then we will undo our multiplication with division. Okay, these will cancel and we'll get 8 equals x, or x equals 8. Okay, and at this point, we've had multiple days of review with equations. It's something that we were in class to work on, so that should be something that you feel quite confident with. Okay, we have graphing on a number line. So if we want to graph x is greater than or equal to 7, remember we need to look at this inequality symbol and consider what type of circle to use. And when we have that solid line underneath, that means we want a solid circle. So we want a filled in circle, that solid circle at 7. And then we are going to shade whichever direction this is pointing, right? So we see this sort of pointing to the right. So that means we are going to shade to the right. Okay, then in reverse order, right, this is asking us to write the inequality. It's telling us to use the variable of x. So I know I have x, and I know that this is at the number 0. Okay, I then can tell that because this circle is not filled in, I want one of these inequalities. And because this is shading this direction, right, I want the one that has the arrow pointing that way. And so I would have x is less than 0. Okay, we have u minus 10 is greater than negative 9. Solving inequalities, we do exactly the same as solving equations. Undoing addition or subtraction does not affect which direction our inequality sign goes. And so we leave our inequality the same direction and we just get u is greater than 1. Okay, so we have another inequality in number 8, but this one does ask us to use multiplication and division. So remember, our solving rules are the same, so we're still going to undo multiplication with division, but the rule says that if we multiply or divide by a negative, we have to flip the direction that our inequality symbol opens. So since we divided by -4, we're changing the direction of our sign. Okay, and if we wanted to write this with our variable first, that would be another reason to flip the sign. Now, when you're typing this in over here, you could type that in either order and you would receive full credit. Number 9, we have variables on both sides. So 2y equals 35 minus 3y. Okay, when variables are on opposite sides of the equal sign, we want to get them together with the opposite sign. So we have negative 3y on the right side of the equal sign and 2y on the left-hand side of the equal sign. So we want to use the opposite of a negative 3y. So we are going to add a 3y, and I'm just writing it underneath the locations that have the y. So 2y plus 3y gives me a 5y. And these cancel out. I'll undo multiplication with division, and I will get y equals 7. Number 10, we are going to fill in a function table. So remember, when we're doing this, we're just going to take this function and keep plugging values in for x. So we want to take negative 10 times negative 1 plus 2. And you could pick up a calculator and type that into a calculator, whatever, but negative 10 times negative 1 is 10. 10 plus 2 is 12. Okay, and then we'd plug in the next one. So then we'd say negative 10 times 0 plus 2. Okay, that will give us 0. Say negative 10 times 1 plus 2. That will give us a negative 8. Again, you can check this in a calculator. You can pause the video at any point. Negative 10 times 5 plus 2. Okay, so negative 50 plus 2 is going to be negative 48. Okay, we should be able to plot a point. So this is asking us to plot the point 5 comma negative 3. So we're going to go to 5 on the x, and then we're going to go down 3 on the y. And our point should be down here. Right? Remember that the first number always tells us how many we're going to move right and left. Second number tells us how many we're going to move up or down. And then finally, we have listing a domain and a range. So to list a domain, we are listing the x values. Okay, so our x values here are the 1, negative 8, negative 6, and 0. We need to use set notation, so we're putting it in those braces. We click this button here. Okay, least to greatest, so negative 8, negative 6, 0, and then 1. For our range, we want our y values. Again, in the squiggles. So let's see, we have negative 8, negative 6, 1, and 9. Now keep in mind for the domain and range, if there are any repeats, you cannot list it twice. So you should not have the same number, maybe like negative 6, show up 2 times. You would only write it once. So for your assignment today, you're going to complete something that is just like this. If you do well on it, I mean, hey, we only have one day after this. You might just want to consider going ahead and doing Thursday's assignment. It is just the quiz, so just like we've done before, it will look just like this. Feel free to email me if you have any questions, or let me know if there's something you're not sure on, if you need questions answered before you take the actual quiz. I probably will not have any other video communication with you, so have a wonderful summer. Be safe, stay well. I am not moving classrooms next year. I'm one of the few teachers who is not, but I will hopefully get a chance to see you in person, and we will be together at the start of next school year.